I'm Richard Clarke. I record these talks every day as a way to deepen my inquiry. Listen each day and deepen your own practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 286. Questioner: how is realization made possible? Maharshi: there is the absolute self from which a spark proceeds as from fire. The spark is called the ego. In the case of an ignorant man, it identifies itself with an object simultaneously with its rise. It cannot remain independent of such association with objects. The association is a jnana, or ignorance, whose destruction is the objective of our efforts. If its objectifying tendency is killed, it remains pure and also merges into the source. The wrong identification with the body is Jihatma Buddhi. I am the body idea. This must go before good results follow. Questioner: how to eradicate it? Maharshi: we exist in sushupti, deep sleep, without being associated with the body and mind. But in the other two states, we are associated with them. If one with the body, how can we exist without the body in sushupti? We can separate ourselves from that which is external to us and not from that which is one with us. Hence, the ego is not one with the body. This must be realized in the waking state. Avasthatraya, the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep, should be studied only for gaining this outlook. The ego in its purity, devoid of identification with external objects or thoughts, is experienced in interval between two states or two thoughts. Ego is like that caterpillar which leaves its hold only after catching another. Its true nature can be found when it's out of contact with objects or thoughts. Realize this interval with the conviction gained by the study of Avasthatraya, the three states of consciousness. In this dialogue, the questioner seeks to understand the process of realization. Ramana Maharshi's response deals with the nature of the ego, the state of ignorance, and the path to liberation. Maharshi begins by talking about the concept of the absolute self, likening it to a fire from which a spark emanates. This spark represents the ego, which in the case of an ignorant individual immediately identifies itself with external objects, like a body and mind, upon its emergence. This identification with objects is termed ajnana, or ignorance. The dissolution of this ignorance is the primary objective of spiritual practice. Maharshi emphasizes that the ego's tendency to objectify must be extinguished for it to attain purity and merge back into its source. Ramana further says that the ego depends on its seeming relationship with these objects for its own seeming existence. Ego exists only in relation to these objects. Ego has no existence of its own. If the idea of the ego's relationship with all these objects is removed, the ego is said to be pure, and ego vanishes. Ramana's self-inquiry is a matter of identity. Inquiry reveals that you are not any of the changing objects, and that you are the unchanging consciousness and existence. This is without ego. You are without ego. The questioner then asks about eradicating the ego's identification with the body, known as Dhyatma Buddhi, or the I am the body idea. Maharshi explains that while we exist in deep sleep, sushupti, even though we have no association with the dormant body and mind during deep sleep, in the waking and dream sleep states, we are entwined with them. However, Ramana challenges the notion of complete identification with the body by pointing out that if we were truly one with the body and mind, we wouldn't be able to exist without them during deep sleep. Body and mind come and go, depending on our state. This liberating self-knowledge must be cultivated in the waking state. Spiritual practice is only in the waking state. Cultivated through investigation of Avasthatraya, the three states of consciousness, waking, dream, and deep sleep. Study them and come to know that which remains the same in all three states. Discard what comes and goes as not truly who you are. You are always. You cannot be anything that is transient. Maharshi says that the ego, in its pure essence, is experienced during the intervals between two states, like between deep sleep and waking, or in the space between two thoughts. He compares the ego to a caterpillar, an inchworm that releases its grip on one thing only when it grasps something else, implying the ego's dependent nature. The true nature of the ego is revealed when it's free from contact with external objects or thoughts. To grasp this reality, you must observe these intervals with what you have learned through the study of the three states of consciousness. What is the reality between thoughts and between states? Who are you then? Some people can catch this moment in the moments before they awaken in the morning. Can you? Ramana Maharshi's teachings emphasize the necessity of transcending egoic identification with the body and objects to realize the pure essence of the self, yourself. This requires practice, introspection, self-investigation, study, and a deep experiential understanding of the nature of consciousness. This can be known directly by being it. It is not known by the mind. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment